Jim, just before we come on to the football, and it's been an incredibly emotional weekend, tough weekend for everyone involved with Rochdale Football Club and that new Joe Thompson. Obviously, we had a chance to pay our tributes on Friday and today, and everyone did so superbly. Just kind of get your thoughts on what must have been a very tough weekend for everyone.
Yeah, it's been so emotional, Greg. We've all got such connection to Joe and Joe's story. I shared 3 changing rooms with Joe. I played with Joe at Bury, I played with Joe at Tranmere, I played with Joe here. You get an opportunity to develop, quite a closeness when you share that many changing rooms with someone. And obviously, we had some special stories here, representing Rochdale, and obviously one very significant one, how Joe, pulled one out the bag for all of us right at the end of that season against Charlton, which would, go down in history, and deservedly so. When we heard the news the other day, it was awful. But it was also fresh, and it's more shock than realisation at that point. So I'd say going into the Altrincham game was shock more than realisation. And I think I spoke to you, Greg, and I spoke to the club, and I didn't personally want to do a post-match on that day because I just didn't feel like any words should be spoken about unless it was going to be spoken about Joe. And because a football game just happened, and some people are happy after a victory, we may have just fallen foul of talking about, other things that truly pale into insignificance when we lose a teammate like Joe. So it's been a very difficult weekend, and I know today was kind of, we've done as much as we possibly could as a football club to dedicate as much time, energy, thinking, thought into Joe and his family. And yeah, I think myself, like the team and the club and all our fans, I think we've just been coming to terms over this weekend with what's happened and with the news. Seeing his family today was difficult. It actually took me by surprise when I came off the pitch today, after laying the flowers for Joe, and I seen his family. That was a challenging kind of moment emotionally, because I wasn't it took me by surprise seeing Joe's family. I didn't know they were going to be here or not. It's still so raw. I didn't have the words in that moment. I didn't have the words for the team on Friday when I spoke to the team at Altrincham pre-game. I spoke of Joe and spoke of Joe's values and virtues, and how, I want them to live on through us, and how we've also represented them this season before the tragic news of Joe's passing. It was important that we continue to try to do that for our teammates, and I think that's intertwined with any teammate that plays alongside us now, staff, player, fan, not just Joe. All of us, we should try and represent the values that Joe kind of learnt or seen when he came into the adversity that he did. Joe evolved as a person. When Joe went through the different bouts of cancer, the different rounds of fighting that he went through, he evolved. And I obviously spoke personally with him on a number of occasions, and was with him intimately on some occasions, and he evolved, he changed, he seen things differently. He would often say, don't live life just to survive, live life to thrive. And he used that one fairly often. He became very inspirational for a lot of people because he just suddenly seen the world differently. And yeah, speaking about him on Friday to the team at Altrincham was a really difficult moment for me, and it took me to a place emotionally that I didn't know what I was going to be in at the start of that. And the team were amazing for me on Friday because I had a tough day, and I had a tough day focusing. Joe will just never be forgotten by any of us. It's a real impactful loss that our team, more importantly his family of course, but all of us as a Rochdale family have suffered. And I hope we continue to try to do as much as we can for Joe and his family. I hope we continue to try and support each other as a team, and I mean an extended team, an extended family, as much as we can when we face adversity, if you want to call it adversity. Going 1-0 down, drawing a game 0-0 against a team that you hoped you could beat. Like, can we truly try to find the values and vision that Joe had, to look at the world and the next game the way he did as many times as we possibly can, because he learned that. And Joe will continue to teach us lessons beyond his loss. I could probably go a million different ways in talking about Joe, and I already have. But yeah, we'll all miss him, but he will live on. I think that's what he wants ultimately. I think he wants to live on. I think he definitely will. He's left a legacy. There's probably only just started, There's probably so much more to it. We'll miss him.
I know you just mentioned the win on Friday. The players, he said, were amazing for you, and that win came in the style that Joe would have wanted, battling back from conceding that goal and going on to win the game. And even today, a 0-0 draw at home, but it's 4 points from a really tough and emotional Easter weekend. Stands in good stead going into the final 3 games as well.
I thought about it Friday. I thought about the late goal, and we actually haven't had too many of them. And I thought how it, interlinked with Joe's story, and Joe's so often thought about it with the late goal, even though he was much more than that as a teammate. He was so team first and selfless. But yeah, we managed to win in that fashion on that day, and I thought, surely there's some involvement there. Not to be too spiritual, but it seemed reflective of how people symbolise Joe's impact on our team. So yeah, the team were amazing on that day. That was a fantastic result and in a huge game, and the team have been very business-like in recent games, and they're in a decent rhythm, they're in a decent run. 4 points over the Easter period, I think going into the business and crunch end of the season is very, very respectable. We've probably bettered everyone around us in that regard, points-wise, off the top of my head. I think we probably have, which again shows courage, guts, and professionalism and seriousness. So yeah, we wanted to win today. We came up against an opponent that I think didn't want to lose today more than anything else, didn't want to get damaged. Anything. I thought Fylde might come and let the shackles off a little bit. I thought they might come and play with the freedom that relegated teams sometimes do. They didn't. They played pretty low, pretty compact, pretty deep, and most numbers behind the ball. And it was, that's become that's a challenge we have faced here before. I still think we could have done better. Our skills weren't good enough today. We know that as a group. We could have done better with the opportunities and the territory and the ball that we had to get the victory that we wanted, but we didn't get it today. We didn't lose. We kept another clean sheet, and we're still focused on business, so we roll on to the next one.
We know that job in terms of securing a playoff place is almost done, but 3 games to go, game in hand on other teams around us as well. But next up, Hartlepool here, and the chance to kind of secure that place mathematically in front of the home fans as well.
Yeah, we'll need everyone. We need the fans. Today was a quiet day, but I kind of expected it to be because other than there being songs about Joe today, it was probably hard to find the energy to create the atmosphere that Joe probably would have wanted actually. But I fully expect that to return on Saturday against Hartlepool, and we'll need it because Hartlepool have got clout. They're an EFL squad. They're big hitters in this division in terms of, you know, how they build their squad and financially what they're willing to give to it. I think they've got a good victory today, and in recent form, they're on good form. So it's a big game. It's an important game. We want to take care of our business. We want to churn out the next performance. We always do. The next one is Hartlepool, and we'll need everyone to create the best atmosphere possible here to give us the best opportunity to go and try and defeat them.